All right, got my hat off now. So why don't I go ahead and unbox these, which is going to be the stuff for the half rack to like reinforce it along with the pegs so I can like add some extra plates onto it. I want to talk about what I've been doing for the last 2 months. See, for the last 2 months, I felt, especially after I lost that last strongman contest, a bit overwhelmed, to say the least. So what ended up happening was I took a week off, like I usually do after a strongman show, to just kind of reflect, sit there and think about my performance, kind of like check out, videos and VODs of what I did and all that kind of stuff, and just start like, being critical about myself and examining what I did right, what I did wrong, and all that kind of stuff. And a lot started happening with me in that week, in that I was starting to really stress myself the hell out. The holidays were coming up, whole Christmas, Hanukkah, all that kind of stuff was happening with everybody that was on there. So it was starting to kind of weigh down on me at that point, just like the weight of everything that I was doing around that point in time. My husband and I were busy working on trying to adopt. I was busy trying to find a new day job, and I was getting my certification for personal training. And I found that at some point I felt so overwhelmed by everything that I was doing that I kind of just shut down for a while. And I figured I just needed to take like a mental health break. Like I was just so disassociated from like everything. I had this plan where I was going to be competing 2 months from now in March, in April, that is, at New Jersey Strongest happening over at the pit. And I was going to compete in the under 200 weight class for that, or 90 kilo weight class. But as opposed to losing about 15 pounds like I should have by now, I ended up gaining 10 pounds because I just kept stress eating. The stress of everything just kind of kept like creeping in on me. So as opposed to being 205 like I should have been right now, I'm at weighing in at 230. Quite an opposite range as to what's supposed to be occurring at that point. And I didn't want to compete when I didn't feel mentally or physically where I needed to be for a competition. So most likely I'll be competing in the summer, likely for the contest called Beer Muscles that's over in Pennsylvania, which I was just at the last one spectating. But I'm going to skip out my current one because it was just I just had too much that was going on. That was it. Just like I felt like I needed to take a step back, reevaluate, just like put my life back together, and then get back into this hobby that I have going on over here because I love this hobby. I enjoy this hobby. I love going to contests. I love training strongman. I enjoy going to the gym. I haven't stopped working out actually at all. I still, if you're checking out my threads, if you're checking out my Instagram or my YouTube shorts, you'll see that I'm still posting like almost every single day and every one of those with like, some new log press PRs that I'm putting on there, moving objects here and all that. So I have not stopped training in the slightest. I love training. Training is fun. I can never imagine not training. The dieting does require focus for me though, like active, conscious focus to do that, tracking it every single day in chronometer and meal prepping and all that kind of stuff, and not just going out and buying fast food and stressing about all that. So because of that break, I had to like step away even from posting videos like this of like, just general fitness stuff or like an unboxing video like I'm doing right now. And I just needed to get away from that. So 2 months felt like a good amount of time to step away, come back and be like, all right, I'm ready to start dialing it the hell in and getting my ass to work. And there's nothing wrong with taking a step back for your own mental goodness. So that's where I've been. So this box I just popped open, we'll go over that in just a moment. That's the pegs that the plates go onto. So that means that this should be the actual brackets. So let's just go ahead and slice right down the middle. And they should pop right the heck open. Oh man. I gotta say that unlike everything else I've received from Titan, that was like came, showed up, busted up, and all that kind of stuff, everything that I got from this specific shipment is like well packaged together. Like if I see everything that's in over here, there's like all this bubble wrap, there's all this foam that's in there, it's all nice and tight packaged. Like that's what I expect to see in anything we'll order from everybody. Same thing with what's going on over here with the pegs. So I gotta find the instructions so I can know how the hell I'm supposed to mount this all. And it should be pretty easy to do. Just gotta bolt it all into the back. It should be good to go from there. Of course, right after I finish complimenting them on all this stuff that I have done here, as you can see, I just took out everything from these boxes. They didn't leave any instructions at all. So I guess that means that they just expect that you're just going to go right into their website and like download whatever instructions they have on there, which is not the most convenient way to deal with anything like that. I prefer to have just like a paper instruction that's included. Come on, guys, please just throw them in there. It costs like nothing. You put stickers in there and like advertisement and stuff, but you won't put the instructions like how to build this with all that. Come on. Yeah, I just looked up the instructions and I was ready to give Titan some benefit of the doubt. Like maybe it's like a lot of instructions or something like that that they got there. And no, it's like two pamphlets of instructions just to what to do with all that. And I'm like, come on, guys. Y'all could have fit all of that in like one little thing that was on there, but it's all right. It's all right. I got it mostly memorized, I think. First, I just need to make sure to clean up the area, so I got my safeties that I got to get out of here. You know, yeah, you can see just how easy the thing is to like move and move around and all that kind of stuff. I've been beating it up pretty badly. So, from my understanding, all I got to do is mount it to the feet over here. So, see, these are what's going to get mounted to the back of this. It's almost as tall as what's got going on back here. But basically, what ends up happening is these get mounted back here, and then there's like a bar that like mounts the two sides together, and then it becomes essentially like a fully usable, uh, like almost a power rack kind of position. So, yeah, let's go get this mounted. All right, two snags I think I might have hit. First, I got to make sure to unbolt these feet that we have over here, so that way these brackets that they came with, this is actually where they're going to bolt into, so it's going to go into that little bottom frame that's on there. But the other issue I have is it looks like I have like the Titan pull-up bar that's over here to help stabilize a lot of this, and I occasionally use it for doing pull-ups as well. I think, unfortunately, I might have to remove it because I think this bracket that I have over here has to actually bolt into the top of this bracket that I have to go into the back of that. And I don't know what I'll be able to do with the pull-up bar if that's the case, or if I have to remove it or do something else with it. I don't know yet. But I guess we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, so this is the bracket that the entire pole that's there is going to mount onto. So rather than using any more of the bolts that it came with, I'll just use the two that already came with the base of this thing and then work from there. So using two of these, one to hold it in place, the other one to turn it. I'm trying to remember which way is tight, which way is loose. Is it lefty loosey, righty tighty? Is that how? Yeah, that's the right way. All right. I'm not a very handy person, but at least I have tools. So there we go. All right, so we take these bolts out, and we just got to do that for both sides. When I got the bolts out, to be able to get this put onto here, right on in there. Do the same with the other side. All right, now with the bolts back in, hex nuts and the washers back in on the other side. We'll get that tightened down in just a second. I'm sure a lot of you YouTube building experts out there are probably looking at me just shaking your head going, boy's a damn fool. Which, you're right, I'm an amateur, so. I'm glad I don't have a job building exercise equipment. Now, at the very least, after starting everything, I did go ahead and kind of arrange all the parts that I'm going to need to set this up on each side. So that way I'm not totally an unarranged mess over here, but I got everything laid out for what I need. So all I got to do is just kind of start plugging everything in. So we got the hex bolts and the nuts and the washers and all that already set up over there. Now it's just time to put it all together. So let's go ahead and get the mounts that's on there set up and get this thing finished up. Yeah, I was definitely correct. After bolting it on there, it looks like I got to pull away that pull-up bar. So I guess I'll figure out a different way of getting the pull-up bar on there. But got to get this mounted, which is fine because honestly, I don't use the pull-up bar that much. I mostly got it for the stabilization reasons of just like making sure the whole thing is on there properly. I find that there's better ways of building an upper back than pull-up bar, like the variety of rows that exist or doing pull downs. Not that I have anything against doing pull ups, but I just personally find that there's better things that I could spend my time on for building my upper back. So that's all. All right, so it looks like the last thing I got to do is get this tightened bracket that's over here between the back side and the front side of this and bolt the two down. And that's going to essentially stabilize the whole thing from there. So let's go ahead and get that bolted. It's actually being held up by that. So for now, we just want to make sure that we're just getting everything in there. We don't want to tighten nothing down yet until we got all the bolts inside. And one more. All right, so now what we got to do is just get the washers and nuts in there and then bolt it down, and that's it. Then it's going to do the same thing on the other side, but I'm not going to show the same video of me doing this side and that side. So let's go ahead, get this down, skip ahead over to the part where I have them both mounted, and then we'll get into the weight pegs after that. And I kind of retract my previous statement. It's actually not that bad to spend time just building stuff. There's definitely this feeling of accomplishment that I get when I finish building like furniture, or gym equipment, or when I spend time building like a Lego set, a puzzle, or especially when I cook a meal for somebody. Like I get this like level of just enjoyment that it's kind of hard to explain about just like finishing this whole project that you put together and then watching somebody enjoy it. So in this sense, the other person that will be enjoying my fruits of my labor today is going to be my husband. So he and I both work out. We both enjoy the sport of strongman. We both compete in different weight classes. He competes in the 90 kilo weight class. No, not 90. He competes in the 80 kilo weight class. I compete in the 90. So I got a bit of weight on him, but that's fine. He always likes to make sure that we're never in the same weight class, so we never compete against one another. I'm also his coach. So I've actually been training him for the New Jersey Strongest contest that's coming out in a couple of months. So I wanted to make sure that he's going to be nice and ready for that, and he's my protege for that one. It's interesting kind of having a different dynamic now that when I'm training him as like a coach versus like, encouraging him as his partner is a very different kind of feeling. So I'm obviously going to hope for the best for him in either case. All right, just need to tighten down these bolts and this should be good to go from there. There we go. All right, that is on there. All right, so I got the conversion kit finished for the stand that's over here. Again, I had to take out the pull-up bar for everything to fit, but everything is bolted on there. The next thing to do is for me to get the weight pegs onto the four little sides that are over there. The reason for that is so I can move all the plates that are on that thing over there onto the squat rack itself. It's going to help weigh it down a ton. That way I can worry a little bit less about it flopping around everywhere. I'll probably still add a sandbag there and a sandbag here, so that way it's a little bit more weighted down, and then it should be good to go from there. So let's go get those four pegs on and start moving the plates on over. One side note though, I have noticed that even with these things on right here, it's a little bit wobbly on that side. I'm going to see if I can take that pull-up bar that I pulled off and see if I can get it mounted between these two over here in the back to add another level of reinforcement to the rack so that way it's fully enforced. Back over here is actually the other box that I pulled out. You can see these are the pegs that the plates are going to go on to. So there's only four of them. I've seen some racks that have like six. I don't think I need that many. Four should be fine, especially because I have another rack or another weight tree over on that corner over there. So that should be fine. And then we have all the bolts, all the nuts, and more bolts and nuts. So once again, no instructions that are in here, just a thing of stickers and advertising stuff. So it's probably a thing to scan to, read instructions. But I can pretty much guess that all I have to do is just bolt this down onto the rack, and then I'm good to go from there. So let's go ahead and do that. From my guess, I'm going to be taking these two pegs that are down here to put one of the bolts down. And then I kind of have my choice as to where else I want to put them in over here. So I probably won't go crazy and put them too high. I'll probably put them somewhere in the middle that's on that area, or maybe even just a little bit higher. And then I'll use the top one that's over here to mount that rack or the pull-up bar that I have back over there. And then that way the pull-up bar could be using like these top ones over here for the next level of reinforcement. Right, and nothing too crazy here. So it's going to be very similar to basically everything else I've built. We're just put these pegs right on there. It's almost like it was made for this exact shape. And then on the other side, we just put the washers and the bolts to hold it in place. And tighten it down by hand. Oh yeah, they've also included these like rubber stoppers here that we need to put in onto the pegs. I guess it's to stop the plates from like slamming into the side when you're re-racking it. So we'll just go ahead and put on that big old rubbery boy on there. Make sure I get that in the right direction. There it goes. There. That's rubber stopper, so that way when you slide the plates on, it's slamming right into this. It goes right into the rubber there. All right, so just got to do that 4 more times. Okay, looks like I am done and done. Got the full half rack conversion kit installed, and I now have the pegs for my weights installed over there. So really the only last step is to get everything off of this rack over here, off of this weight tree, this wooden one that I've got, and move them on over there. But whew, I'm beat. I'm probably just going to do that tomorrow during my rest day. So I think since there is enough room up here, I'm just going to go ahead and get that pull-up bar installed over on the back just for, again, a little extra stability. As you can see, it's a little wobble that's on there. I think anchoring the two sides together is going to be really good for that. So let me just go ahead and do that real quick. First, I'm just going to make sure that this actually fits in here. I'm pretty sure it will, but, you know, for safety, sorry. I wish I could leave it in the front, but like the topmost peg that's on the front side over here is what I use for squatting, so it won't fit. Unfortunately, it won't do for me to try to put it over into this area here. It just won't work at all for that. So I just gotta see if I can get it installed back here. This is harrowing. Oh, this actually might work. Ah, actually works surprisingly well. Then, not high enough for that, so let's just go ahead and take that as one peg. There we go. All right. So, pull-up bar is not totally useless. I could probably still do pull-ups on this if I just tuck my knees in and do that, so that still works. Let's just go ahead and get this on there. All right, and now that this is on there, these two sides are anchored together, so now it's like fully on that. I gotta test what I said though. If I could just like tuck my knees in and still get a pull-up or two on there, I probably can. Uh, I'm still kind of tall. My knees are almost hitting the ground. I can, but like I said before, I'm not big in the pull-ups anyway, so I'd rather do rows if I want to work on my upper back. So yeah, last thing for me to do is just to move all the plates onto this thing and it's good to go. But it's been pretty awesome. It's a good way to spend Saturday, just kind of building up the gym stuff and getting a lot more equipment on there. But like I said beforehand, I kind of just took 2 months off just so I could work on me and then get everything set, get my life settled out and all that kind of stuff. And plan on working on the next contest from there. So I'm definitely planning on competing by the summer and dropping all that holiday weight that I put on in that time. But once again, thanks all of you for, sticking around and still liking and commenting on all my stuff, especially that I've been posting over on Instagram. So I'll see what I can keep on posting at this point, keep myself motivated. Well, not motivated. I don't want to use the word motivated. Keep myself disciplined so I can keep doing what I'm doing since I just enjoy it so much. But until next time, this is Leo from Leo's J Gym. I'll see you guys next time. Mwah.